Iowa gets Auburn, the 9 seed, 29 in KenPom, 48 offense, 29 defense. Do you want the good news on offense on Auburn or the bad news first? Which do you want
bad first?
Bad is they're the 5th best defensive 3-point defense in the country. They're long. They guard the perimeter very well. They're very physical. It's not exactly a great matchup for Iowa. You want the good news now?
Of course.
Lost 9 of 13. Not exactly a hot team coming into the NCAA tournament, although they did beat Tennessee on March 4th. You, of course, have the coaching deal with Bruce being there. What do you think of the matchup, Jon Miller?
Well, I think, if this was like several years ago, I didn't know what this was, and you said Iowa against Auburn, I'd be like, oh, man, that's great, because Auburn's just great three-point shooters, up and down, full court press, this, that, or the other, yada, yada, yada. This is not that Auburn team. They're not a good team at shooting the three. They're one of the worst. I think they're the 314th best three-point shooting team in the country. Some Iowa fans said, well, they're going to shoot 10% better than their percentage because that's what teams do against Iowa, which is not wrong. So to me, it's like, all right, Iowa's not a great team. They're a solid team. Iowa's an 8, 9, 10 seed. I was hoping today they would fall to a 10, frankly, to play the 7.
No doubt.
But they didn't. They're 8, 9. If they're going to be in somebody's bracket, I'm glad they're in Houston's bracket. But let's not think about that. Let's talk about getting past game 1, because last year, a year ago right now, I recorded the last episode of the Hawkeye podcast. I was pumped, man. I was so stoked. Dick Vitale had already taken Iowa to the Final Four. I'm feeling great. That happened. Iowa loses the first round. Broke my spirit. Never recorded another one until we talked. So I feel that clearly it's an 8-9 game. So we're not going to break news and say, man, Iowa's got a great chance to win this game. But they do. You're right. This is a team in Auburn that has been limping in coming down the stretch, but Iowa kind of has too. Auburn had a big win late. Iowa had a big win at Indiana late. I'm looking at the profile of their losses down the stretch of those, Texas A&M, 25th KenPom, West Virginia, 17th KenPom, Tennessee, 5th KenPom, Texas A&M, 25th, Alabama, 3, Vandy, 8. So, they're not losing the chumps. It's not exactly a Big 12 schedule, but they're not chumps. But this just doesn't feel like that Bruce Pearl classical Auburn/Tennessee type team, because they can't hit the 3 with regularity. Yeah, they're good at defending the 3, but I'm going to take Iowa in this game. I never gave a consideration to taking Auburn, even though if anybody does, it's worthy. That's probably subconscious homer pick right there. But it's an 8-9 game, so it's really, these are coin flips. We're talking about 53% chance.
Our friends at Circus Sports have Iowa as a 1-point underdog. Just came out. 1-point underdog.
Fantastic. Gives me some juice. Not that I'm at that.
Real quick, too, the women's selection show is happening right now. So if I do see, I'm thinking Iowa might have a
Iowa and Iowa State. Let's interrupt the conversation and talk and break. Because we got viewers. It's live right now, right? So
yeah.
People are entrusting us with their time. They need to know what's going on because we're the only source they're focusing
on. Okay, we'll get to the other matchups, and then we'll do a little bit more on these. Drake, a 12 seed. I am so glad Iowa State and Drake are not going to play each other. That would have been just a nightmare for a lot of different reasons, and it just sucks. It makes the tournament less fun because one of your teams is going to be out no matter what in the first round. Drake heads to Albany on Friday night. Bulldogs won 16 of 18. We all watched them win the Valley. They are a 3-point underdog, according to our friends at Circa. I've seen this Miami team in person last year in the Sweet 16 in Chicago. Elite offense, really long, fantastic shooters, Pack, Wong, Miller. They can really fill it up. They lose in the ACC championship game to Duke this year. I think Drake will have a tough time with this one. I do think Drake is one of the best. They're probably the best one-bid league as far as the teams to get out of there. And clearly Vegas is giving the Bulldogs and Darren DeVries a ton of respect, only making them a 3-point underdog. So you know they're going to be right there in it. But Miami's really good. I just having seen them up close and personal last year, almost the exact same team, I have a ton of respect for that roster.
Yeah, and really, in just looking at the metrics on Ken Palm, which is what I'm going to be using in the metrics section, this is an inverse kind of a game. Miami's actually kind of a little bit like Iowa. They're the 12th most efficient offense in the country. Their defensive ranking's 132nd. That sounds a lot like a Fran team. Their effective field goal percentage is 55, and that's 20th best in the country. That's really, really good. They don't really turn it over a lot. Not a great free throw team. They're a good 3-point shooting team, right around 37%, top 50 in the country. I just don't like this matchup for Drake. Drake's kind of the inverse of that. I think if they would have had a different 5 seed to play against, I'd feel differently. I think this Miami team's problems for them. I have Miami winning that game.
The only good thing about Miami is, what did you say their adjusted defense was?
132nd.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
No, I said Miami's metrics are like Iowa's.
Yeah, the good thing about you're exactly right. It's, you just hope you get them on a bad shooting day.
Yeah.
And if you do, anybody can beat them. I mean, hell.
But the inverse, for people listening, Drake is the 98th ranked offensive team and the 44th best defensive team. So that the top 50 defense out of 360 teams is really solid. And Drake is also a good 3-point shooting team. So I'm not saying Drake doesn't have a chance. I had to make a pick. I picked Miami.
Okay. Miller's on Miami. I think I would probably follow you there. I don't really know yet on Iowa Auburn. That's a real contrast there. I don't know enough.
You're a
about
procrastinator.
Auburn.
You don't.
I will make my picks
with the feel.
I usually fill out my bracket the day of the tournament. I know I'm crazy, but that's how I roll.
Horrible.
Iowa State gets a 6 seed and falls to a 6. I don't know if I'd say they fell. Actually, they've improved drastically over the last 2 weeks with those wins over Baylor. They get the weird situation where you don't know your opponent. They either play Mississippi State or Pittsburgh, 2 polarly opposite teams. Pitt is your Iowa, Miami run and gun. Mississippi State is basically Iowa football.
164th offense, 6th defense.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd probably rather play Pitt, to be honest with you, because I think I trust Iowa State's defense against a good offense more so than I trust Iowa State's offense against a good defense, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get that. And I'm going to say this right now, Bob, congratulations to the Big 12 teams. You made it. You can now take a nice sigh of relief because the hardest part of your season's over. The Big 12 conference play. It's all downhill from here. Whether it's either one of those teams, I've got Iowa State advancing, and I had to. I thought about advancing Iowa State to the Elite Eight.
Oh wow!
But here's my thing: I don't know what to make of this. Iowa State has limped into. They're 6-11 over their last 17 games. That's like over half the season. Had a little roster turnover recently, but I was, in Kansas City. I watched them play against Kansas. It's the second time I saw Iowa State in person this year against Kansas. Kansas that was one of Kansas's best played games of the season last night, and I probably watched over half of Kansas's games this year. That was a really well played game. Iowa State did a great job of containing Dick in the first half. And, Dick really got away from him in Lawrence. But in the second half, Dick got away from him in this one, too. So I think by and large, I like Iowa State to win whomever in the first round. And I like Iowa State beating Xavier in the second round as well. But I have Iowa State
too.
I have Iowa State losing to Texas in the round to advance to the Elite Eight. But you know what? They've beaten Texas before.
I'm going to be in a bad spot, John, if Iowa State's in the Sweet 16 in Kansas City and we're in Las Vegas at Circa.
You're not. Please tell me that you're not thinking of changing that.
Oh no, I'm going to do both. I'll figure out a way.
But let's talk this through. Iowa State makes it to the Sweet 16. You and I together at Circa in Vegas. And brother, as far as I'm concerned, I haven't done I can go wall to wall, 8 a.m.
Just all
to
clones.
8 p.m. All clones, all tournament, the whole day. Let's do it. Why not? I'm there. That's why I'm there, right?
We'll make it fun. Yeah. I'm not
Wait. You're acting like I wouldn't have fun doing that.
No, we'll make it fun.
I walked through.
You were at the Power and Light at Iowa State's pep rally the other night.
I didn't know. I guess I kind of did, but it wasn't in front of mine. I'm like, wait, this might be where their pep rally is. I got out.
What do you mean this might be where their pep rally is? There's like 5,000 people just in there drunk and screaming.
That's another day in the legend of Iowa sports fans traveling. Iowa and Iowa State are effing elite. They're elite, and they're the same people. They just wear different jerseys. It's the same people. We are the same people. And I was walking around that thing, and I got a couple side eyes. I heard a few snide remarks. Yeah,
a couple people.
But the majority of people that I interacted with came up. Hey man, love you on the show. You know, Chris Williams. Thankfully, he's clone washing you and all this and that. And it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. And it just dawned on me. I'm like, I've been to so many of these things with Iowa. I'm aware of Iowa State's reputation. And I'm just like, you know what? Of course we're the same people. It's like a dumb comment. We're from Iowa. We're all Iowans. But it's, it's just like these people are just wearing a different color jersey. I had a great time. I really enjoyed it.
That game the other night too. I'll see what you thought about it. I didn't think Iowa State really played that well. They were okay. Like, it wasn't awful. It wasn't great.
It's really sloppy.
Kansas was awesome. Like, that was really good. And Iowa State still, like, at the 10 and under, like, you thought had a puncher's chance in that one. So, like, I don't know. It really didn't deter me at all. Like, the fact that they beat Baylor those two games, like, it feels like they are ready to go.
I still think they're a guard short. Like I talked about after they lost at KU when I saw them at Lawrence. KU just happened to have three guys that can hit the three, but KU's penetration was the difference in that game. And Kansas just couldn't stop him at the point of attack. He did. And man, Dick got beat up in this game a lot. And he's not, he's kind of slender. He's not really that thick. He's just, I don't know, he's wiry.
There's not a lot of girth to the rack, but he can penetrate with the best of them.
Oh, I see what you did there. That's horrible. But I'm breaking down basketball, and you're breaking down something else. So I felt that Iowa State was just a guard. Gabe Kauscher can only do so much. My gosh, that guy. There was two plays where the play got whistled dead for either a foul or a travel, and he was in the act of shooting. Made both of those too. I mean, he's pretty amazing.
We call him neutral court Gabe for a reason.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, what a great nickname. Put that on the tombstone. Neutral court Gabe.
But he can only take so much dick, and and then Kansas just had too much of it on Friday night. I was good until I looked at your face.
That's what she said.
I was totally good until I saw you in that little side eye thing that you were.
Yeah. But I think Iowa State's a guard away from going to the Elite Eight. This draw here.
I don't think they'll go to the Elite Eight either. Texas is a terrible matchup for them.
This year's draw with last year's Iowa State team, I'd have had them. I probably might have had them in the Final Four because I don't have Houston. I have Indiana beating Houston. So, and I don't like Indiana either.
Let's do some really, really quick Big 10, Big 12. Again, guys, and I looked at the three Iowa teams draws, and I haven't looked at a whole lot other than that. Do you see a Big 10, John, when you filled out your bracket, a Big 10 team that you think has a chance to win the national championship with this bracket?
I have Purdue. Which bracket? You talking the overall bracket?
Yeah, I'm just saying overall. You filled out your bracket already.
I have Purdue in the national championship losing to UCLA.
Oh wow. Okay.
To me, Purdue's bracket. I mean, win the first round, either FAU or Memphis in round 2. I mean, I'm not concerned there. Tennessee, Duke, Oral Roberts, or Louisiana. I mean, again fully aware of the Matt Painter postseason choke job and that Purdue all of a sudden plays like ass. But then on the bottom side of that bracket, I mean, Marquette is the 2. Okay. I think I've got Kansas State playing against Purdue in the Elite Eight. I have 1, 2, 3. We've got 3 Big 12 teams in the Elite Eight. I just feel like these Big 12 teams have, and who knows, maybe it could come back to bite me. They play such a physical game all season long, and now they get to come and maybe take a breather. But how the refs going to call the games? The Big 12, the Big 10, and the Big 12 are similar to that. Will the refs call it the way basketball should be called? The way things are played in the Big 10 and Big 12 is not basketball. It's basketball. It should not be called that way. It's horrible. It's horrible. Some clone fan behind me the other night got mad because Kansas basically Iowa State tackled a guy. This is the Big 12. You can't call that. I'm like, that's basketball. That's not basketball. It's rugby. So anyway, but I just feel like nobody's better tested than Big 12 teams.
Well, and I also think it gives you an advantage in the postseason on a neutral floor. I think that refs tend to swallow whistles more. They're humans. They don't want to make a call to impact a game to end the team's season. And I think when you're Iowa State and you're playing on the road, playing that style, you don't get calls. And that's
right.
Frankly how it should be. I understand that, but I do think it carries over well for them right now, stylistically in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. I can see you arguing it one way or the other, but I'm just bullish on the Big 12.
Okay.
Bullish, I say.
Kansas, I haven't gone through these matchup by matchup, but they looked they looked incredible on Friday night in person watching Wilson. I mean, he looks like the best player in the country to me right now.
He actually does. Is he projected as a lottery pick?
I don't know. I don't do enough.
I don't know stuff. Either.
Give me a second.
I'll talk. I have no clue what his projection is. I promise you, I haven't looked. And
he's got to be.
I think when I was watching him play Friday night, I thought to myself, this guy's a lottery pick. I mean, he's got the inside game. He can slash and attack. He can defend. I got to think that he is a lottery pick projection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, he's not. That's not.
Yeah,
true.
He is.
That's not.
He
true.
is.
On what?
Grady Dick is currently a top 10 pick.
I would not take Grady Dick in the top 10.
Well, he is.
Yeah. No thanks. I like him a lot. I like his game. He just needs to put on about 25 pounds of muscle.
Wilson's currently projected 26 on a couple of these, so could very realistically work himself into that. But right now, not a lottery pick.
I think you could bring your wife in and ask her opinion. Would you rather have Wilson or Dick? And she'd clearly say Wilson.
I think I'd rather have Dick. I think he projects better. God, we're awful. A couple other.
I've not even done anything.
Chris Murray at 12 on this.
I think that's too high. I think he's first round. I think he's first round, but I think down the stretch, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here waiting for them to share the women. Has Iowa State's seed been shared yet?
If it has, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. I'll be honest. I don't have a ton of Iowa State media that I follow. I follow PD, follow you, follow Bloom. I just started following Bloom again this weekend, and I like Brent. Even when I wasn't following him, I still like Brent. But I quickly realized why I probably wasn't following him. Because Bloom is the most edgy, taunting version of Jon Miller back in my old days that I ever like. Jon Miller 11 snark back on the radio pissing off clones. Bloom is a 12 the other direction. He lives for that, for the
there was a member
Iowa.
of the Iowa media, I'm not going to throw names out there, you guys can go look it up, who made the decision to get in Bloom's mentions, I guess. Is a bad move. Bloom he's been in Kansas City all day. All these people telling him how great he is, liquored up, cloned out. Bloom sits around just like planning on how to own Hawks like all the time. It's a bad intellectual decision to get into a Twitter war with this guy.
Yeah. He's got his fourth tweet reply to you already figured out. It's the first one. He's 4 moves down the line. You're coming in. You're dealing with the House of Pain, dude. Don't do it. And Bloom's he might be 5'5", but that little sucker has karate has Twitter karate down.
Just put the phone down. Don't do it. I don't even know the guy who did it or anything. I'm not throwing shade. I just knew it was a bad move when I saw it.
It was David Eichholt, and David made the
I'd have
mistake
never
of
met David before.
I think David's a hardworking, good guy.
Seems
love
like
him to
it,
death. He found out the hard way that you don't mess with Brent Bloom on social media.
Bloom's he lives for it. Like he's
It's
like the Bill Self.
Let's be honest. It's Bloom's Super Bowl, right?
Phil Parker's pa said he wants your opinion on something, John. He wants you to discuss the factor, the location. They give Iowa the 9 seed gets an in-state home tourney game over an 8 seed. He's talking about Auburn playing in Birmingham, Alabama. I know my opinion on this. What's yours, John?
Here's my take, and it's borrowed from Connor McCaffrey, something he's already tweeted out. Iowa will have more people cheering for them in Birmingham, Alabama, than they would have had probably at any other regional, because Alabama is also in that regional, and Alabama fans will be there cheering for Iowa against Auburn. So, home game.
And when you no disrespect to Iowa, Phil Parker's pa, but when you're an 8 seed, you kind of throw out any sort of you're not owed anything at that point when you get out of those top 16. And the way it works, I don't know the specifics of it, John, but it's some sort of a computer type of metric deal where it's like the fewest miles traveled by everyone. Like that's actually how it works, because I remember when Iowa State lost to Oklahoma that Saturday and it felt like the whole floor was caving in on Iowa State. I actually talked to Jamie that night. And he goes, well, the one silver lining is if you wanted to play in Des Moines, you have a better shot now, because falling out of the top 16, like Iowa State was going to be at the bottom of the top 16 and they weren't going to get Des Moines privileges. Well, now that basically he was telling me, and this is great insight because he's on the committee, that the location matters. If they can do it, that's why we were talking Iowa. We were talking about them potentially being in Des Moines going into today. Like it's kind of just how it all falls with these computers and whatnot. Iowa got a bad break there, but again, when you drop to that type of a seed line, you kind of just lose all privilege. I guess.
You're right. Your LA privileges are revoked. As Marcellus Wallace said in the great American classic Pulp Fiction. I think that you either have to be meh or good, and then you can do it. So you're right. Virginia Tech just got the 1 seed in the Western regional for the women. So, here's the thing. When you look at Virginia Tech's resume, it's just as good, if not better, than Iowa's. So you don't want to hear that and want to see it. I was hoping for Iowa to get a 1 as well. But when I saw the teams that Iowa would be in competition with to get the 1, like UConn and Virginia Tech, and I think Stanford, I'm like, if they picked any one of those teams over Iowa, it's not an outcry. But they have just given Iowa a little chip on their shoulder. So, okay.
I actually, I had a coach say this to me. Oh, Iowa State is not hosting.
Oh, that sucks.
5 seed.
So that means 5 seed. Where are they at?
They get Toledo and Knoxville, Tennessee.
Break that one down for me.
Toledo's 28-4. I mean, it's your.
What are you reading? Are you reading off the back of a cereal box?
I'm reading the television. The MAC champions. No, I have no idea. I do know Iowa State. Like, here's the deal about this team, and I follow them about as closely as any team I follow. They had that huge injury early in the year, and it took them forever to bounce back from it. Like, they don't have a great resume right now, but they are absolutely a top 10 team in the country. Like how you're playing right now.
They've learned. Is it Suarez, right? How you pronounce the name?
Suarez.
Okay, I was close, and I didn't even look that up. Right. I think they've learned they've retooled themselves without her. With her, she's an incredible defensive presence, and there's not many people like her on the offensive end in the country. So they had to retool and learn how to play without her, and they've done. And Jones is an incredible player. Just scored 3,000 points. The 14th player in women's college basketball history to score at least 3,000 points. She's a phenomenal all-time Iowa legend, and really, really fun team to watch. I was talking with somebody the other day, like, if you won a Powerball, and you could give only $10 million to Iowa, what sport would you give it to? And I instantly said I would go to Lisa Bluter and say, what do you need to keep Caitlin Clark at Iowa for the 2 more years? What's it going to take? Because I think if Caitlin Clark stays at Iowa for 2 more years, with Iowa being one of the national leaders in attendance in that, it could set this program up for the next 20. So that's what I would do. I would give it to Lisa Bluter.
It's just fun too. It's just as competitive. I'm not saying the women aren't as competitive, nothing like that. I enjoy it more. I spent a lot of time in Municipal Auditorium, which is a total dump, over the weekend. But the atmosphere in there watching those Iowa State women's games is second to none. I have so much fun in there. And yeah, it's really cool because our women's programs, Big 10 champs, Big 12 champs, Missouri Valley champs.
It's fantastic. And I echo your sentiments. And I'm not just saying, oh, Miller's woke now. I have enjoyed watching this Iowa women's basketball team right up probably one of the top 5 most enjoyable Iowa Hawkeye basketball teams that I've ever seen. Caitlin Clark is the most entertaining. Caitlin Clark and Roy Marble, to me, were the 2 most entertaining Iowa Hawkeyes I've ever seen play basketball. And it's just awesome. I love their style of play. I love that they're bombers. It's just great. And so it's fun. Great women's basketball in the state of Iowa.
Hell yeah. All right, I gotta go. Got some flights to book. Got all kinds of good stuff. I have so much to do tonight. I'm gonna be up until 2:00 in the morning. 2 guys named Chris, 8:00 tomorrow. Also, I believe Bohannon and Stansbury are doing their bracket pod tonight.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah. So we got a lot.
Do you have to hold their hands, or can they do it on their own without you being involved?
They do it on their own. Yeah.
Oh, look at them. They're all grown up now.
Yep. They do it on their own.
Stanberry was trying to talk smack to me the other day in Kansas City. You're gonna need to tell him he's gonna bring me to go to another level.
I want to get you and Bloom at it.
Is Bloom coming to Vegas?
It's actually possible. We're kind of
we
have one spot open, and it's all kind of been waiting on how this whole thing plays out, because all of our guys have other jobs, including me, including you. So it's and most of our guys are in sports media in some capacity. So we should know here in the next couple of days.
Well, if he comes to Vegas, we'll let the cameras roll. We will set up some type of we'll come up with some type of competition, and I'll remind him where the shine box is.
Love you, man.
Love to see it.
He's Jon Miller. I'm Chris Williams. Thanks to our friends from Prairie Meadows Racetrack and Casino. It's your favorite place to play. We're signing off from the Channel Seed Studios.